Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be going over what I think the Houston Texans offseason plan should be after being eliminated in the divisional round, losing 34-10 against the Baltimore Ravens. We're going to cover free agency and the draft and moves I think the Texans should make to improve their team. The Texans, out of all teams in the NFL, have the second most money to spend in free agency. And they're going to use that money in cap space. They have $75 million to spend. So just know they're going to be going after some big free agents this spring when free agency starts in March. I'm so excited to see what the Texans do in free agency with having $75 million to spend. And let's go over what I think this Texans offseason should look like. Sure, you're going to get guys back that were injured last season. Tank Dell will be back. Titus Howard will be back. Other guys that were injured will be back. But there's a lot of money to spend. First of all, let's go to the draft first. You have picks 23, 59, and 86. You all have other picks throughout the draft, but those are the Texans' best three picks. Those are the Texans' first couple picks that they have in the draft. So I think it'll be really interesting to see, what the Texans do with those picks. I think first round, I think the target has to be the offensive line there. But I want to talk about what I think the Texans should do in free agency. You have $75 million, and you got to spend it. And I have $40 million in mind for three different players that I think need to be brought in. So Devin Singletary, I think, will likely leave. I think he's going to get money elsewhere. I don't really see him coming back. I don't think we're gonna bring him back. I think even after even though I think big thing is that one thing he struggled against the Ravens, and I think the Texans they have the chance to bring in a way better running back, and I'm thinking of someone in the name of Saquon Barkley. Give him $20 million. I mean, he wanted, I think it was 17 from the Giants. Give him $3 million more than what he wanted originally. So I'd be fine to give him a 4-year, $80 million deal. If I'm the Texans, give him 20 a year. That's going to be 20 out of the $75 million that you have in cap space to spend. So I would start off with getting a running back. He's an electric running back. And good receiving running back as well. And I think he just make this offense even more dangerous. And then another guy I'm thinking about with the other $20 million that I'm talking about, the first $40 million in spending that I'm focused on three players, is someone who's been on the team, and that's Dalton Schultz. Give him 12. I give him $12 million over 3 years, it would be 36 over 3 years. Give him 12 a year. I think for that price, with how much he loved playing with C.J. Stroud, with how good of a season he had, I think Dalton Schultz will easily return. I think you could offer him 10, and he'll probably return. Maybe even I think 10 would probably be the lowest point for Dalton Schultz for the season he has had this year with the Houston Texans. And then the final guy I am thinking about is a wide receiver. Now, I'm not going big. Not thinking Mike Evans, T. Higgins, or Calvin Ridley, or any big name. I'm thinking about someone who, for C.J. Stroud, I think would be a good weapon because he's a great deep threat, great long reception receiver, great long receiver as well, great deep ball receiver, has great speed. I think he just really fit well with C.J. Stroud's game, and it looks like his team will probably not bring him back. And I think he'd be a great fit for the Texans. I don't think we really, with having Nico Collins and Tank Dell, we don't really need somebody in the wide receiver room that's going to go over them necessarily. We just need someone who's going to help them and just going to add another weapon for C.J. Stroud. And I'm thinking about a guy named Gabe Davis from the Buffalo Bills. He's had a solid year. He's had his ups and downs throughout the season. Honestly, I think around $8 million should get the deal done to get the Texans Gabe Davis. And then the Texans wide receiver group would look like it would be Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Gabe Davis. And maybe Robert Woods. We'll see about him. he is under contract, but we'll see if the Texans maybe trade him away or cut him to clear more cap space. I think that should be interesting to see what happens. But then there would be $35 million left over. What about Jonathan Grenard? I'd like for us to re-sign him, but if we can, let's franchise tag him. I think it'd be great if you franchise tag Jonathan Grenard and then focus on re-signing him next year. I wouldn't mind that at all for the Texans. Franchise tag Jonathan Grenard, re-sign Dalton Schultz, sign Saquon Barkley, and sign Gabe Davis. And then you have $35 million left over. Well, I think you actually would have to pay, I'm pretty sure you would have to pay Jonathan Grenard some money on franchise tag, but I don't know how much it would be. But then you'd have a lot of money left over to spend. With that leftover money, you got to focus on special teams. I would say re-sign both Kaimi Fairbairn and Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson has done a great job with the punting unit for the Texans, and even though Kaimi Fairbairn missed a field goal in today's game, still made a 50-yard field goal. Yes, he missed a 47. He 100% needs to be back as the Houston Texans kicker. I would like us to re-sign Steven Nelson. He did a great job starting at corner this year for the Texans, had a pick 6 in the wild card. We 100% need to bring him back as well. We need to bring back Blake Cashman. That's another guy I think we need to bring back. And then with whatever money we have left to spend in free agency after that, I would just trust Nick Caserio to feel like to add in whatever he feels like helps the team the most. So those are the names I'm thinking about right now. Re-signing Dalton Schultz, re-signing Blake Cashman, re-signing Steven Nelson, re-signing Cameron Johnson, re-signing Kaimi Fairbairn, franchise tagging Jonathan Grenard, re-signing Dalton Schultz, signing Gabe Davis, signing Saquon Barkley, drafting an offensive lineman in the first round at 23. Those are the early moves I'm thinking about for this Houston Texans team going into the offseason, but things could change in a matter of days. You never know. Mike Evans might be in the conversation, obviously not added to all that. Maybe the Texans decide they want, instead of bringing in Saquon Barkley, they want to spend $20 million plus on a player. Maybe they decide they want to bring in Mike Evans. I would love Mike Evans, but I think running back is a more need for us than wide receiver is. I trust Nico Collins and I trust Tank Dell, and I think a guy like Gabe Davis, who would just be a cheaper player and is a deep threat for CJ Stroud, is all we need. But let me know your thoughts on the potential all the potential offseason moves to this Texans team in the comment section, and peace out. Go Texans.